How do I, 38M, reach out to my wife, 45F, after unintentionally hurting her feelings? Looking for a little advice here. This morning I woke up a little early for work and found that my wife was also awake, scrolling on her phone. She had the day off for the holiday, but had a workout scheduled for which she would leave the house about the same time as me. It's been a week or two since we had sex, and as our daughter, 12F, was still sleeping, I figured I would shoot my shot, as it were. I asked her something to the effect of, on a scale of 05, how interested are you in some lovemaking? And without looking up from her phone, she said, -5. At that point I tried to catch a little more sleep, as it was about 30 minutes until my morning alarm would go off, but I was unable to, as my feelings were a bit hurt. I was ready for rejection, but saying, -5 inches rather than just saying, 0, seemed unnecessarily harsh. So I went ahead and got up, and did my morning routine down in the basement bathroom. I commonly do this to avoid waking my wife unnecessarily on days that I'm working and she isn't. While I stewed on it for a bit, I initially decided on letting it go. However, after a few goodbye kisses later in the morning, I decided that I would tell her that she had hurt my feelings, as I would want to know if I had hurt hers. I did my best to relay it in a gentle way, even saying that I'm certain that she didn't mean for it to come off as harsh as it did. She did not take it well. She avoided eye contact, but I could clearly see that she was fighting back tears. I backpedaled a bit, but she said nothing and left for her workout, with me leaving for work shortly after. It's been about 7 hours since then, and I haven't heard from her at all, and I haven't reached out to her either. Typically we text each other throughout the day, pretty standard stuff like, love you, and, how's your day going? I'm not really sure where to go from here. I work 24-hour shifts, so I won't see my wife until tomorrow night, and I don't want to not talk to her until then. That being said, she can be pretty stubborn, and it's very unlikely that she is going to reach out to me without me reaching out to her first. I could some advice. I'm currently leaning towards texting her and apologizing for upsetting her, and I am genuinely sorry. It was never my intention to upset her. However, I don't think it was wrong of me to express my feelings. We have been married for 14 years. Not sure what you did wrong here or why you need to apologize. If you can post this issue on Reddit, you can talk to your wife. Short and honest. Something like, didn't mean to hurt your feelings today. Don't want us to be angry or upset. Can we talk when I get home from work? Exactly how did you say it that left her holding back tears? Seems you left something important out there. Also, is morning sex normally a go for you guys? Has she been dealing with anything the last 2 weeks that might have made her less likely to want sex? Did you even say good morning to her before asking for sex? I feel like you're missing out an awful lot of detail. There does seem to be a lot of resentment, and your lack of curiosity suggests you lack some self-awareness. You asked, she answered honestly. You didn't seem very curious why she would be so off. Did you ask if everything was okay? I think if you ask a number scale question you get a number scale answer. -5 would have had me asking if my partner was okay, but I guess it's difficult to think past the tip of your penis sometimes. OMG, just talk to her. You have been married 14 years, surely you must be able to sit down and have a conversation with her about fights like this. Communicate. I, 24 female, am starting to hate my husband, 25 male. I have been with my husband since high school. Our relationship overall was great, we didn't argue much and he is like my best friend. After we graduated and established ourselves a bit, we ended up getting married and having a little girl. He was the best dad and I was so thankful to have such an amazing man as a husband and a father for our child. We decided to have one more, of which I thought we were both excited and ready for. I'm currently 15 weeks pregnant with another little girl. A few weeks ago I noticed he has started acting distant, but his job is demanding and I assumed it was just exhaustion. Overall, we were still getting along and being intimate. A few days ago we bought new phones and he asked if I could set his up for him. Once everything was ported over, I opened his photos to make sure they were showing on his new phone and I seen a picture of another man's privates in his photos. Obviously I was confused and I did the bad thing, snooped, I know, shame on me. When I opened Snapchat there were at least 5 girls he had recently messaged. He had 2 guys he had been messaging as well, but those were deleted. A few of the girls had saved the chats and he was sexting them. I then came across a chat that he was discussing a girl meeting up with him while he was on a brief work trip a few weeks prior. It feels like the way I view him has completely shifted, and I don't even want him near me. We planned for this baby, we already have a small child, everything was seemingly fine and happy. Now it feels like a bomb went off. I don't understand why. I still haven't confronted him, maybe because a piece of me doesn't want it to be real. But we also have a zero tolerance for cheating. We have discussed it multiple times and what we classify as cheating. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to him. He keeps asking if I'm good, and it's like his whole demeanor has shifted. I guess mine has as well. I won't tolerate it, and our children won't live around it. I can't help but wonder what else I don't know. Every time I'm around him I feel nauseous and full of rage and sadness. I know I can't keep pretending I don't know. How should confront him? Hun, please make sure you have your accounts straight, that you have money to leave, and that you also have a lawyer before you confront him. That way you have a way to leave immediately if you need to. Save all the evidence and messages that you have on your phone and in a second place as well. You are still young enough for this not to be very impactful. You can have a new life with a better man or single. It doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not. Leave this guy. Yours sounds similar to mine. I caught my ex-husband having an affair with a coworker when I was 14 weeks pregnant with our second child. Me and our 2-year-old stayed with my mom and stepdad after I filed for divorce. You definitely need to have an STD panel done. It's not about confronting. Simply say, when getting your phone set up I found a number of things that I found disturbing. Please explain. Your husband is an idiot for asking you to set up his phone if he had things to hide like that. But thank God he's an idiot so you can get yourself tested and get out. His infidelity could have gave you a STI and took your unborn babe's life. Thankfully you're clear, but how dare he? Please leave this man no excuses for that at all. How many people are you having sex with besides me? My boyfriend, M28, doesn't seem to be able to get over my F25 past. Just a bit of background. We've been together for just over a year. We'd been very open about our past hookups, relationships etc. when we started dating, including times when both of us had been a bit promiscuous. Around a year ago I was scrolling back to find an old photo on my phone. My boyfriend sat beside me, had seen a nude I'd sent to a guy I'd dated years ago and questioned it. I was honest and owned up to having not gone through my photos to deleted anything inappropriate that I shouldn't still have. He'd said he hadn't either, but was sure hadn't held on to any nudes or nude photos he had sent to others. Note I didn't have any inappropriate photos of other people. I was meaning more just if I had general photos with an ex or something. I had brushed the situation off initially, but after him mentioning it again I took it more seriously and apologizing for the situation, so I felt like I'd had been dealt with. It was brought up a few more times after this in which I apologized, but he didn't think I was that sorry or got his side of the situation. I've continued to apologize and have been brought to tears over the situation. I feel as though he can't get over my past. He has held on to that photo situation and how I had at one point been a girl that he wouldn't have considered girlfriend material due to my behavior with guys in the past. Even though this had all happened years before meeting him. The past 2 months he's brought it up at least 3 times. Every argument over it ends with me in tears apologizing for my past, as I do feel awful about it and how it's affecting my current relationship. His argument is that he just doesn't like my actions and how he can't get it out of his head that I used to be promiscuous and that I'd kept an image I'd sent to another guy. What would you do in this situation? Every other aspect of our relationship is lovely, at least I'd say so, but I have a funny feeling he is really impacted by this and is a regular thought in his head. You sent nudes previously. He sent and received nudes previously. What's the difference? This isn't a question of your morals and values not aligning. This is a question of your boyfriend being a hypocritical bellend. Stop apologizing and tell him to fuck off. You are apologizing for a photo you sent to an old boyfriend way before you knew this current twit? I'm confused. You haven't done anything to him and yet you are apologizing. The best of this relationship is already over. He's 28 and doing this? I'm not one of those red flag run people, but in all seriousness, you should end the relationship. You shouldn't be apologizing for having past relationships. You're 25. You should know better than this. He's toxic, insecure and controlling. And this is only going to get worse. I would end this. I am speaking from personal experience in a slightly different situation. He's acting like you've done something to him and expecting you to fix it when he wasn't even a blip on the radar when it happened. That is ridiculous behavior. You don't owe him an apology and you don't owe him your past. If he can't move past it, then that's a him problem. You have done nothing wrong and you need to stop acting like you did. 38M broke up with me. 36F. I don't even know how to process this. We were together about a year and a half. I proposed to him in Feb of last year. He has 3 kids and I found out I had cancer. The love I had for him was strong. I knew something had been going wrong for about a week. Never did he communicate with me. He just let things bother him. Now I'm alone and without answers. He even had the audacity to cuddle me last night in bed while sleeping, only to tell me today he no longer was in love. How does one do that? Give a false sense of love. I don't know what to think. Hopefully he can find his happiness even though he was a coward to lead me on like he did. Where do I go from here? He has 3 kids and I found out I had cancer. This tells you everything. He doesn't want to deal with your cancer. Focus on your health and beat this cancer. I am so sorry you're going through this. Find someone who loves you for you, and not dump you when you have a health crisis. He revealed he did not love you. You can cuddle and care for someone for comfort and not have any feelings of love. As soon as you are cancer-free and he's not with someone else, he will come running back saying he made a mistake. No, he didn't make any mistake. He just didn't want to be burdened with you getting cancer. You can throw this one back. Be thankful you found out now. Focus on you. You are the most important person you need to focus on. I wish you the best. You can beat this. Hug. You didn't do anything wrong. He can't handle your diagnosis. Focus on your own health and people who will support you. Women who get seriously ill are 6 times more likely to be abandoned by their male partners than men are to be abandoned by their female partners. He didn't want the hassle of a sick partner. I'm sorry. You did nothing wrong. It's not about you. I think he is flighty, not when you can count on when you need extra support. It's a him thing, not you. Stay strong, you have a long road ahead of you. Foucault's on that. Get well soon. If you need a friend you can DM me. Focus on your own health. You have a golden opportunity to focus on yourself and not people who will feed you false narratives and promises. That's the problem with following your heart. Sometimes our heart leads us wrong. Everyone we meet will teach us a lesson. Take this lesson that he taught you, even though he's an ass, and learn from it. You will grow, and you will come out a better person.